Huge WWE star out of NXT. His contract is set to expire at the end of this month. I'm giving you the full news breakdown and what all of this means on the show right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Assemble. I'm Matt. Good to see you and good to have you here on the show. So like I said, there's huge news in the world of wrestling right now, as arguably one of the biggest stars out of NXT, his contract is set to expire after SummerSlam, and that being Adam Cole, baby. So it looks like at NXT TakeOver 36, they are shaping things up. NXT is shaping things up to have Adam Cole take on Kyle O'Reilly again in another match. This is the night after SummerSlam on August 22nd, and it looks like that's the time that Adam Cole's contract is going to be up. I'm giving you the rundown of the news coming out of WrestleTalk, as well as quoted and cited over at Fightful Select. Fightful Select reported on the Adam Cole situation, and it reads like this. According to Fightful Select, Cole's contract coming up in July was a surprise to many at the top of the company, as they only realized shortly before the expiration of the deal. Wrestling Inc. is reporting that Cole's deal actually expired in July after Great American Bash, but he agreed to an extension to work until after SummerSlam. There was reportedly significant frustration and heat within WWE that it came so close to the wire, but Adam Cole himself was praised for being easy to work with and agreeing to work through SummerSlam instead of leaving instantly. So again, make sure you're going over to WrestleTalk, Fightful Select, and Wrestling Inc. that has all the news coverage on this evolving situation. I find just taking this information here is extremely interesting. Adam Cole is, again, arguably possibly one of the biggest stars that NXT has, that WWE has, that wrestling has today in the modern era. He has put on huge classic matches when he first arrived in NXT and did a giant surprise at TakeOver. He's a decorated champion, NXT champion, and to see that WWE has dropped the ball amongst other releases and talent, but they have dropped the ball on letting his contract lapse and expire and not jumping all over it to keep him signed, to keep him in the company. To me, it's speaking to just how disorganized and dysfunctional and lack of communication there is within WWE itself and their talent. John Laurinaitis is the head of talent relations, and he recently just took over all of talent relations as they got rid of previous leadership that was over there. But even for like Triple H, for Paul not having his finger on the pulse with a massive talent like Cole, knowing that his contract had expired, and with, if these reports are accurate, that Cole's contract expired at the Great American Bash and he just extended it, there's the possibility that Adam Cole is just negotiating his contract, his deal, working things out, and that Triple H is all over it, and that he's trying to get him signed, and maybe Cole has just been agreed to kind of go on a 30-day basis of re-signing and not sure what he wants to do. We don't really know at this point. But if it is true that there's significant frustration and heat going on within WWE, that they let this contract get all the way to expiring without trying to make offers or re-sign the guy, and your top NXT champion out there, and one of your biggest draws and money makers for NXT for that brand, if WWE and if NXT loses Adam Cole to either another promotion, and we'll talk about all of this in a second, but to another promotion, or just he moves on and does different things and doesn't get back into pro wrestling for a while, just losing him as a talent, it is a huge, huge problem for NXT in my opinion. Yes, NXT has some amazing talents that are there, like Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, and like I love The Way, and I love so many in the female and women's division is really, really great. NXT is always kind of evolving, right? They take some stars up, like Karrion Kross, which is kind of a fumble right now, but they try and constantly bring in new talent, fresh talent, good storylines. They do everything they can, but NXT's ratings also have like kind of always plateaued around that 700,000 mark, not really breaking the 1 million mark even consistently. Contrast that to AEW that is constantly rising. They switch channels and all of that and time slots. So there is no competition there, and losing someone like Adam Cole and not having him on your TV and at your takeovers on a consistent basis, to me is a huge problem when it comes to trying to fill that slot, because Adam Cole, in my opinion, is somebody that can go to any organization and do whatever he wants, and he's going to be successful there in a wrestling capacity. The other thing that we want to be able to make aware of everybody is that Adam Cole also has a really successful Twitch channel. He does so much work with up, up, down, down, left, right, left, right. He's so talented over there, and he loves playing games. So his options and opportunities, in my opinion, also stem outside of pro wrestling, that maybe he is just looking at doing something else, and maybe down the road he wants to look at other companies or going back to WWE. You never know. Now, the only way I kind of see this turning around for NXT and for WWE is with Triple H. Him having such a good working relationship, it seems. Shawn Michaels in there as well, working so closely with Adam Cole. Triple H was able to get Samoa Joe back into NXT after he was let go. There is the chance that Adam Cole could get re-signed by them, but I don't know if Adam Cole is actually going to stay. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on all of this, by the way, but to me, Cole has done anything and everything he can within NXT. He has been the top champion. He's been a long reigning champion over there. He has risen all the way through the ranks year over year. He's fought everybody in big storylines, top to bottom. He's even had the one-off showcase on SmackDown when he took on Daniel Bryan in an amazing match. He's headlined takeovers. To me, there's nothing left for him to do. The Undisputed Era has dissolved. All of those stars are going off and doing their own thing. So to me, if you're Cole and on that brand, what else is there to do other than just enjoying being there and enjoying the craft and the people you work with? And that could be enough for him. We don't know. But strictly from just a creative standpoint, what else can he do? He's been a face, he's been a heel, he's had the Pat McAfee matches, which is kind of like the gimmicky stuff, the showcase stuff. What else can the guy do within that brand? Now, if you moved him to the main roster, that's a different ball game, right? We could see him in just all these brand new matchups that no one's ever expected and would love. But WWE main roster seems to be going in a different direction from talent-wise. Everything that we hear and read online, and with all of the releases as well, the big push for WWE seems they want to be able to get to larger than life stars again and going that direction versus the smaller size, the indie stars, signing those people like Adam Cole and getting them on their brand. They feel that that's not necessarily the direction they want to go in with their main roster stars. So Adam Cole may or may not even have a good opportunity to be on Raw or SmackDown. If that was even presented to him, I don't think he would be able to even go there. Not with the direction that WWE is seemingly going down for the next year and beyond this. And frankly, I'd be worried about how Cole would be utilized on main roster because we see so many talents come up and do nothing. They get like Aleister Black where they're locked in a room for a year and a half. I would worry that Cole would be there and just become a workhorse. He'd get a big pop coming in and then he would flounder and get into like a tag division or mid-card and not be able to really show off what he can really do as a main event talent. And I worry that main roster wouldn't know what to do with him. We look at Black, we look at Andrade, we look at so many talents that are wasted, Bray Wyatt, and WWE not doing enough with them, where you have somebody that's similar to a Daniel Bryan that is, an indie star, that is a talented wrestler, can go on the mic, can do kind of everything you want him to do. I worry that he becomes too generic within the shuffle and not believable enough in the eyes of Vince and the higher ups that can Adam Cole even take on a Roman Reigns or somebody like that? Maybe they don't see it that way. Now, the fun part is all of the speculation, and it's where does he go from here? This is going to be the biggest thing that we're going to keep an eye on here on the channel and making sure that we can see what is going to be all of the news and updates coming out of this situation. Does he go to New Japan? Does he go to AEW? Does he stick with Twitch? Does he work with up, down, down? What do you all think that Adam Cole's next move will be? Do you think that after SummerSlam he's out, he's a free agent, and he goes and he moves on to do something else? The most exciting part and the fun part that I would want to be able to find out is, could you imagine if he turned around, if he is a free agent after SummerSlam, potentially that means that he has no non-compete clause in his contract if he's already let it lapse. He may only have a 30-day non-compete clause coming out of NXT. If that were the case, you could have one of the biggest talents and the biggest rosters if you are someone like AEW. If you're Tony Khan and you're over there with that team, you need to be trying to grab him. And we don't want AEW, for a lot of us, we don't want AEW to turn into this, quote, dumping ground of ex-WWE talent. But I think we also, as fans, we need to stop looking at it as, AEW just signs old WWE talent they let go, and that's just it. It's not the days of WCW where people are just jumping ship, going left and right, and WCW becomes the place where, all of the old washed up talent from WWE is going over. we need to start looking at it. In my opinion, we need to start really looking and re-examining how we perceive talent and their contracts and all of that, that they're not just going to AEW to just kind of like, oh, Vince fired them and he has no use for them and they're terrible. I think that the little era that we have had where Vince was scooping up every piece of talent right around the time of AEW starting up, I think that time is over. And I think that that's proven with talent being let go, like Bray Wyatt, that are huge contracts, Andrade, Aleister Black, Bray Wyatt, and potentially Adam Cole as well. And with those talents being released, WWE doesn't seem to be in the market right now to sign people to gigantic contracts anymore. And if you're Adam Cole, I don't think it's necessarily just being released. He is a free agent. It's a different circumstance. He is not being released by WWE. His contract is expiring, which is entirely different and gives him all the leverage to do whatever he wants to do. And it would be really cool if he showed up in Chicago or somewhere else down the line with AEW and you get matches that you've seen on the indie scene in Ring of Honor and in New Japan and elsewhere. And if we could get things like Daniel Bryan versus Adam Cole in a long feud, or him and CM Punk, or to other people where he's going to fight Jungle Boy, or he's going to fight Andrade or Black, Cody, Kenny Omega, there is too much that he could do in AEW with people he's familiar with and talent that he's worked with, and maybe allow him to be more creative, who knows. But as somebody who follows NXT fairly regularly and fairly closely and loves the product and is a huge fan of Adam Cole and didn't get to watch him a ton in ROH, seeing him come up and go through NXT and become the star that he is, I think his stock is absolutely massive. He is at his peak for what he has available to provide creatively to another organization. And likewise, if he sticks on the gaming side and sticks with Twitch and expands his brand there, it'll be awesome for him on that side too. And maybe we start getting past everybody. We start getting past this era of giant bloated contracts for 5 years where WWE signs Cole and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and all these stars longer and longer and longer. And maybe more and more stars are going to start looking at the fact that they have so much cachet and they have so much value to bring to other companies, other organizations, other ventures outside of just being stuck with WWE. It's slowly turning into that way, I think, where they are starting to see that they can go elsewhere. They have other options and opportunities, and it's not the be all end all. Or they do go to WWE and they build their craft, their namesake and all of that, and their contract expires and they don't necessarily feel like they have to stay under Vince and stay on the main roster unless it's what they really want. But if they feel like they're unhappy, they're not utilized. You got people like Buddy Murphy who talk about how creatively they're just not fulfilled and that it's a relief when they got released. It could be the similar situation for more and more talent over the next few years. And I think that this is going to become much more of a regular thing we see as a lot more of these contracts are coming up and WWE is letting them lapse and not jumping over all of these talents because they're trying to do something else or they don't see enough value in them. And people like Adam Cole and others need to understand, and they probably do, that they have a ton to offer. They can go to places like New Japan, AEW, or whatever, and be very successful. And us as fans win at the end of the day. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about the news about Adam Cole's contract expiring, becoming a free agent? Will he go to AEW? Will he go to New Japan? Will he stay on Twitch? Or will he go back with NXT and WWE on a regular basis? Stay tuned for more information and more news coming down the pipe here on the show. I'm Matt. Thank you so much for joining us here on Assemble. And as always, thank you all for assembling with us. See ya!